Look, I always knew that Joe Rogan was mostly a liberal. I mean, he's a Bernie guy. So I'm not going to act like totally upset and shocked when he turns heel on Trump at a time in which it's popular to do so. Trump's approval ratings are undeniably sinking lower. There is a cost of living crisis that I have a lot of faith in Donald Trump that he's going to fix, but it's going to take time to fix. And in the meantime, people don't really want to wait around. People are worried about their grocery bill, which continues to go up for just about anyone who's being honest, their heating bill, their electricity bills, the interest rates, all this stuff. Now, the interest rates probably have to stay high or maybe even go higher to help offset this inflation. But it's hard out there for a lot of people. And now that it's convenient, Joe Rogan is turning heel on Trump, just like he was convenient to back Trump. Now he's turning heel on him and criticizing. I'm hoping that I can explain to Joe why he's wrong and why critics of these deportations continue to be wrong. The shocking extent America has turned on ICE is revealed as Joe Rogan breaks from conservatives still cheering Trump's army of masked men. First of all, let's not villainize the people who work for ICE. They're doing their job. Every single person, 20, 30 million of them, over 10% of this entire country, are people that have crossed the border knowingly, illegally. They are all criminals. Every one of those 20, 30 million people are stealing jobs from Americans. This liberal lie of they're doing all the jobs that Americans don't want is absolute nonsense. There was a guy on Caleb Hammer's show, the finance auditor guy, who was making $40 an hour driving forklift in Arizona, and he's an illegal. I wonder how he got forklift certified without an identification. Many of these illegals are taking jobs that a lot of Americans want. Okay, maybe we're talking about a few migrant farm workers. Okay, but it's a fallacy to say that. Also, these illegals are not paying taxes. Also, the biggest scam is that these illegals come here and one of them works and the other one is a stay-at-home mom and ends up getting government benefits that they are stealing from American citizens. It may not be a comfortable truth, and you may know people who are here illegally and are very nice people. I'm not saying that there aren't people here who broke the law and came here for a better life and are good people, but they have to go. When we have 0% unemployment and zero homeless and zero, I know you don't really want 0% unemployment, but you get what I mean. When everyone's earning a proper wage, then we can talk about opening up our borders for legal immigration. I'm for the full-scale stoppage of all immigration, and that includes H-1Bs and that includes all student visas. That's what my position is. Americans have an increasingly negative view of immigration and customs enforcement, hawkish operations, which have become a dominant feature of Donald Trump's second term. It's because of the mainstream media and how they're representing it, and it's working. And now you have Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn going on there and being like, they're ripping kids out of school. Blah, 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 blah. They're parroting the same lies that mainstream media is. 45% of 1,246 registered voters surveyed online disapprove of the agency. That's fine. Okay, so half this country is liberal and it's an online poll. Who even knows how accurate it is? The results come after notoriously independent podcaster Joe Rogan gave an 11th hour endorsement of Trump in 2024, re-upped his criticism of the ICE raids this month. I don't believe that Joe Rogan swung the election, by the way. Some people do. I don't. I don't think anybody in Joe Rogan's audience was like, hey, I need to vote for Trump now, because I think Trump would have easily beat Kamala Harris without Joe Rogan. If Kamala Harris thought going on Joe Rogan was going to help her election, then why didn't she do it? He says, you've got ICE raids where they're taking people that are American citizens and they're scaring the ish out of everybody. I mean, a couple of misses and that's on ISIS, that's ISIS' fault. I agree. Here's the clip.
I absolutely believe this is true, that I'm sure other countries fund similar things, but also it was in reaction to some of the ICE raids, right? I mean, it was a visceral reaction that a lot of people had, the idea of people just showing up and pulling people out of schools and pulling people out of Home Depot.
Well, the pulling people out of schools thing, I assume, is extraordinarily rare. And I would ask you, are they a 30-year-old Guatemalan who's pretending to be in high school? Because that happens. Also, look, yeah, it sucks. Those kids didn't willingly break the law when they were brought here and, by their parents who broke the law or used as a anchor baby to try and get citizenship, but they have to go. And this is what I think is like the biggest lie of this whole, well, people are pushing back people. That's nonsense. This is what I voted for. I voted for this. And I knew that there was going to be some sad stories baked into that. Yeah, I get it. It's true. There's going to be some grandmas and grandpas that, are in general have followed the law after breaking the law to enter this country. And those people can certainly reapply for citizenship in 50 years when we look at opening the borders again for legal immigration. Horror stories are emerging from across the country, like Katie Paul, a 33-year-old British mother who was arrested by ICE agents in San Diego, claiming she overstayed her visa in California, arriving for a routine green card appointment to finalize paperwork for permanent residency at a U.S. Citizenship Services offices. Paul found herself placed in handcuffs and arrested on the spot in front of her 6-month-old and husband. ICE confirmed her detention in a written statement. Individuals unlawfully present in the U.S., including those out of status at federal sites such as USCIS, officers may face arrest, detention, or removal in accordance with immigration law. Look, I agree. Let's focus on all the people who are hiding from ICE. There was these videos, viral videos going on this week where they're like, my girl, look at this construction site. It's totally empty. Well, don't hire illegals. Pay Americans to hang your drywall. There are plenty of able-bodied Americans who want to hang drywall. You just want to pay pennies on the dollar, so you hire illegals. Again, you say, do Americans have favorable or unfavorable view of ICE? 37% say very unfavorable. Okay, Democrats. And then if you look at neither favorable nor somewhat or very favorable, that makes up 48%. All right. So it's about as split as this country is. It's all a completely fake narrative that people are out there like freaking out about ICE. I'm not. Yes, I want them to be careful. I want them to really, really know when they're pulling somebody over, when they're arresting somebody. I want them to be really, really sure when they do it. But everyone's got to go. 30 million illegals are using up taking up hospital beds, taking up government benefits, not paying into the system, but withdrawing on it. And this is a major problem. They might be nice people, okay? They're like, a little leech on your arm that's real friendly, and you're like, hey, buddy, but they're bleeding the system, right? So when people complain about the cost of healthcare, when people complain about the price of rent, 30 million illegals are in rented apartments or homes. That's a lot of inventory, right? Let's say it's at least 5 million pieces of inventory, which would cover our entire inventory shortage of rental and homes. So, yeah, I'm not saying that they're like the devil and they need to be put in prison, but they got to go. That's what I voted for. And that's what Trump's following up on. Now, I want to see those numbers pumped up. I'd like to see, 500,000 a month. And I would happily siphon money from our defense budget to ICE. I would 100% support mobilizing our military to deport these people. Now, I don't know where that stands legally, but I'm saying I would support it. Rogan is leading the chorus of, quote, conservative voices who are turning on brutal tactics used by ICE. There are no conservative voices turning on ICE. And Rogan is not conservative. In last month's episode with comedian Duncan Trussell, Rogan called Trump's ICE policies horrific and added, everyone who has a heart sees this and goes, that can't be right. Have some heart. No. Joe Rogan is a liberal. He's not a conservative. They have to go. And Trump has to play the optics game here. He needs to be advertising more about the gangbangers and stuff like that. maybe save some of those, like release another gangbanger every day if you're going to be rounding up a bunch of families too. He's losing the PR war on this, but he was always going to lose the PR war on this. But he needs to do a little bit better. He needs to do a little bit better. Among the ICE issues also hitting Trump's approval ratings, the new poll reveals, among 55% of people who disapprove of Trump's job as president, 41% put the actions of ICE in. It's one poll. You know, there was a poll that said that Democrat was going to win Iowa by like 7 points too. And then that pollster retired, probably, in my opinion, because they got paid off. DHS insists their agents have every right to conceal their identities due to an increase of attacks and threats against them for carrying out their duties with immigration enforcement. I 100% agree. ICE launched Operation Charlotte's Web this month, sending agents into Charlotte, North Carolina to crack down on illegal immigration. And it's the state's largest hub for Latino and migrant communities. The operation began November 15th, lasted 5 days, and resulted in more than 250 arrests. I would have liked to see 2,500, but that's my only complaint, right? That's my only complaint, is that they're not, getting enough. We need to go into California and say, we don't care. I don't care that, Gavin Newsom's going to have a little titty baby meltdown. Go into California and go where these people are. Go into California and go in Texas and get rid of 4 million of them in a couple of months. Stop onesie twosieing. That's my complaint. I have no problem with what's going on with ICE. I have a problem with it not getting out. Again, fake news. No one wants illegal immigrants except the left who love crime. They got Joe Rogan to come out against Trump because Rogan's liberal and he's just going whichever way the wind blows. This is just fake news. Keep deporting. If anything, I want to see more ICE, more deportations. Because I believe that is one of the strongest ways to fix the housing market. Just is. 30 million people got to live somewhere. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you have yet, please subscribe or follow down below. We'll talk to you again real soon.